Beautiful day in the neighborhood, John.
It is a beautiful day, yes sir.
Okay, we got a new employee. I want you to be gentle now, okay?
How you doing, Brandon?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Be gentle.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, we got a problem. Too many bees.
Yes, sir.
Too many bees.
Too many bees.
Too many bees. Everywhere we go, we're carrying these brood haulers around with us. We're trying to equalize, taking brood from strong colonies and giving it to weaker colonies. And then we have 6 or 7 boxes on the truck with a screen bottom board. There's no entrance, and we can put every yard we go to. If we have brood left over, we can put it in there and haul it to the next yard. Well, the problem is the next yard's stronger than the last one, and we're having trouble getting rid of all the brood. In this particular place, we're in Rabun Gap, Georgia, really close to the North Carolina line, and the main honey flow, it's more than weeks. It's, I don't know, 7 or 8 weeks away, and we got colonies full of 7, 8, 10 frames of brood. It's way too early, so I don't know if that means the season's going to be early or what. I don't know what to think. I know there's got to be more cold weather coming. Yeah. I mean, this can't be it. It feels like it's 70 degrees out here or something. 74 degrees, really? Wow. Yeah. So, yeah, so here's the danger. Jesse, in the last yard, he was looking at singles that had 8 or 9 frames of brood and half a frame of food because they've been busy making bees. And of course, in that yard, there was more Italian genetics. We saw that in the last yard. We're seeing a lot of drone brood in between the boxes when we pop them open, and thankfully I've not seen a mite today. Has anybody seen a mite in any of that drone brood? So we can assume that our mite counts are pretty low, but I probably still will figure out I think I'm going to do a spring treatment of some type this year, or perhaps the extended oxalic acid once the supers go on, something, so we have something going on to combat mites before August. With this really early buildup like this, that means there's an early mite buildup too, so we got to be careful with that. Brandon's brand new. You have my condolences. We'll treat you right. We'll treat you right.
The crew's just as dramatic as the bees this year.
Yeah, the crew's pretty dramatic at times, yeah. Seth's on the camera. Old Seth, he's my new competition. He's got his own YouTube channel now, which actually looks pretty good to me. So tell me, you have to yell it loud so the microphone gets it. What's your channel?
Seth Hill at Appalachian Bee Ranch.
Seth Hill at Appalachian Bee Ranch. Your videos are looking pretty good.
Well, thank you. There's a lot coming from you. You got the best, I think.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. But yeah, I was reading some of the comments. People are really liking your stuff.
Yeah.
So they like your personality and your fun-loving ways, and I think you'll go far with your YouTube. What's not to like?
I'm gonna go work bees.
Right.
Yeah. Let's go work bees and see what it looks like in here.
They see us a few minutes at a time.
They see us at a few minutes at a time.
Yeah, they see us a few minutes at a time. That's why they love us so much.
It seems like our crew's kind of getting known a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So if they really knew what we were like.
Right. Yes. They would tune in more.
I don't know. Yeah, we're seeing the same thing in this yard too. We have to take a bunch of brood out of here. Lots of drone brood in between the boxes. Any mites? I haven't seen a mite yet, have you?
I haven't either, no.
Okay, looking good. Let's see what we got, you guys. Well, that's not that strong. That one's a little better. Boy, it's not starving, that's for sure. Oh yeah, there's a lot of bees in that. So this is the problem. We're trying to equalize these things down to 5, perhaps 6 frames of brood, and it ain't working very well because we got too much brood. So Brandon, go get some of them empty brood haulers off the truck, would you? And what we're doing, we shuffle all the brood into the bottom box, and the empty comb and extra food stores go up above. And And that way they have a sense of void or emptiness above them. And the bees like to grow up much better than they like to grow out. So we'll try to put the emptier combs above them and the 5 or 6 broods in the bottom with perhaps some food on each side. So you guys, in the stronger colonies, the inside feeders can start to go in the top box.
You talking about ones that are already double deep?
Yeah, already double deeps, nice and strong, plenty of bees. So it's got about 4 frames of brood average. You know, some are half frames, 2 halves makes a whole sort of thing. So
Yeah.
give them 2 more frames of good brood in the bottom, and then anything left over has to go into that brood hauler box. And we might find a few weaker colonies in here that can take a frame of brood or 2. We'll see. Yeah. That's all eggs and larvae. Kind of watch for the queen as I go. We definitely don't want to put her in the brood hauler box, but you know what happens. You know, when you move this much brood around, inevitably you miss a queen or 2, and that's just part of that game.
Late ball split there.
That's pretty full. That's done. So now, any other brood that's up here is going to have to go somewhere else.
I'll take 2 here.
You need 2 over there? Okay.
I'm installing this nuke here. I'm going to go ahead and make it
John, in fact, I'm going to let you take all 3 frames of this brood here, but I have not seen my queen yet, so I want you to double check it.
Yes, sir. All right.
Last colony, Seth, what do you got?
Oh, it's a big one.
Loaded?
Giving the corner a good name.
Yeah. Lots of brood here too, huh? Unusual problem to have. Too much brood. Okay, we're leaving here with a lot more brood than we arrived with. We're going to have to go to a yard of singles next to see if we can get rid of some of this stuff. I want to make all my singles into double deeps anyway, so we can add a few frames of brood into each single, give them a second story, and that should work out. We transferred all the little nukes that were overwintering here and all the singles into double deeps. Everything's here is a double deep now, and we still ended up with a bunch of brood coming out of here. Every colony's got 5 or 6 frames of brood, which is, even that's probably a little bit too much for this time of year, but it's what we had to do.
Oh, yes.
That box is just a simple box. There's no entrance. It's got a screened bottom with 1/8 inch hardware cloth. It's just meant for, we call them brood haulers. It's just meant for moving brood around. And we don't necessarily put too many bees in there. We don't want them to overheat. But we got good frames of brood that we move on to the next yard. That thing's loaded.
Preferably hatching brood.
Hatching brood is best, yeah, sealed brood like that. And we will hopefully use all this brood up in this yard. These singles are definitely weaker than the doubles because they were very late starts last year, so I fully expect to be able to use all this.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay, John, let's show people what these are made of.
Okay.
It's really just a standard box. There's nothing fancy about it. We staple on 1/8 inch hardware cloth on the bottom, and then we use 2x3 pressure treated feet. It really just gets them off the ground, gets them off the truck bed, plenty of airflow through there. And we put 9 frames in them instead of 10, so it's easy to get things in and out. And we just use one of our standard migratory flat lids. And in the summer or late spring, if it's really warm and we're really worried about them overheating, we'll use a screen lid too, so they have a lot of airflow. Yeah. Anyway, it's real simple. There's nothing fancy about it.
Yeah. We're actually excited to see weak colonies.
Yeah, it's like, gosh darn it, another strong colony.
Yeah, that's what was happening yesterday.
This colony's good. It's just small, so it's a perfect candidate for being boosted.
There she is.
We don't want to boost too much, though. There's such a thing as doing too much too quick. I'm just going to give it one good frame. I often get asked, don't the bees fight? And the answer is really no. I mean, I don't really see much evidence that bees have fought when we do this. Because this one is small, I'm going to really try to give it a frame that seems to have bees that are hatching right now. And this one definitely does, so that's a good boost for this colony. I think this is going to be a little light. Brandon, I need a 1 gallon bucket on this colony right here. Yeah, this single. Oh man, John, that's got some food in it.
That's why, yeah, I said I'm not going to worry as much now about overwintering. They tend to always have enough food.
Okay. I think this one can take 2 frames of brood actually. They're big enough to handle 2 frames.
Big enough bee number wise, huh?
Oh, they got a lot of food in them.
Okay.
But I am going to put one of those second stories on them. We'll make them a double deep. Yeah, they're doing great.
Nice pattern.
Yeah, had lots of hatching bees. Okay.
Hey, whatever you do, don't leave the jar lid in and then we got people do it.
Okay, Brandon, another little lesson here. You got your hive tool in your hand, okay. We're going to put the feeder out of that box in the bottom. Because it's a small colony, I don't want to have that feeder up in the top. Or if it turns cool, they won't go to it at all. These green frames always end up against the wall. Doesn't matter what side, as long as they're against the wall. More often than not, you'll see them on the opposite side from where we're working. And we always pull frames together. If you leave a gap like that, the bees will fill it with something. If it's real big, they'll put burr comb out of beeswax. And if it's real small and tight, they'll fill it with propolis and kind of glue things together. As long as we keep it tight like that, they won't do that. So what you're going to do here is fill that feeder, put this box on top, put all of this drawn comb in the middle with the foundation towards the outside, and it'll be perfect.
Okay.
This one looks compromised. This one doesn't look like it's right.
Probably got 5 frames of brood.
No, I think it's queen.
I know.
It's actually queenless, I think. No, it's got a little bit of brood. How about that? Okay, John, let's talk about how to mark a queen.
Okay.
It's intimidating at first, but okay, where did she go? Right there. So see if you can get the camera close. I don't know if it'll focus. I like to grab her by her wings and immediately put my finger in front of her. You don't want her to bend over because it's bad for her insides if she curls up on you. and she'll grab whatever you put in front of her. So all 6 legs went right on my finger to grab me, and then immediately I got the 3 on this side with my thumb, so she can't twist around. If you only get 1 leg, she'll twist. She'll even twist her own leg off.
Wow.
And even with 2, sometimes she'll try to twist. So you want to get all 3 if you can help it. And simple as that. This is a very small colony, so we'll give it a very small boost. So why don't you?
As well? Will she sting?
She does, but she won't sting you. I've never been stung by a queen. I know I've heard beekeepers say they have, but I've never been stung. So why don't you rummage through that box of brood and find which one looks like it has hatching bees, literally bees coming out of the comb. That's the best thing for a small colony like this. They got plenty of food, so we're not going to have to feed them. So let's look at that one, I'll look at this one. This is really too big for that little colony. Of course, they're all probably big.
Even though it's hatching, it would get killed.
This one has bees. Okay, I'm going to set this steady so John can get close, but this is what we're looking for small colonies like that. See these, Brandon, these bees are literally chewing their way out of the cells right now. So this is a good frame to give that small colony because the frame will take care of itself. It doesn't need a bunch of extra bees, and they'll all be young bees, and they'll get along with this small colony. They won't overwhelm the queen or anything.
Right.
Plus, these have been in this box for a couple hours, so you know they're already getting the sense that they're queenless, and they'll be a little more apt to get along with what we give them to.
Gotcha.
Okay, so we can take boxes off the truck, put 2 frames of brood in them, and just put them on. Let's make it quick. We're running out of time for the day. It's getting late.
Oh, yes, sir.
At least we can get this brood used up.
Yeah.
All them boxes in the back are brood.
We only got 90 frames of brood.
Yeah, well, 2 in each colony, or 3 maybe. That'll get rid of it
3
for
might
now.
not hurt here.
They're not quite strong enough to put the feeder in the top box. So all of these get a feeder in the bottom box, Selena. Feeder goes in the bottom, yeah. Okay, mixing some sugar for the day, sugar syrup. We're making it thicker than we usually do. We don't need to stimulate bees right now, we just need to make sure they keep some weight on. So we're not going quite as thick as 2 to 1, but much thicker than 1 to 1, probably about 1.5 to 1 actually. Jesse's been bringing over equipment from our pole barn. I have a pole barn at home that's full of equipment. And, some new boxes, some used boxes, some are full of foundation, some are empty, some are full of feeders. We have a lot of feeders. I have enough feeders for over 2,000 colonies. May not use them all again, but we have them in case. Getting the brood haulers ready. We're sorting boxes with 1 feeder, 3 drawn comb, and the rest foundation for using on singles today. And of course, these nuke boxes and stuff we generated yesterday are coming off. All the nukes that overwintered in a nuke box are now getting switched into single-story boxes. It's time, it's warm enough, no problem. Going through buckets at a fairly steady pace. I think we got enough for this year. The truck has 2 totes on it. The one on the other side is empty. This one was about half full, so we went through a tote and a half yesterday, which is what we've been averaging. Not all colonies need feed, so it helps meter it out a little longer. If we were feeding every colony we went through, we'd be going to more than a tote and a half a day. Anyway, all's good. We'll be heading out of here shortly. So we're finally getting around to painting our black buckets white. These things just get a little too hot in the summer for my taste. The syrup kind of dribbles out of them too quickly. Strong colonies handle it just fine, but the weaker colonies can't keep up with the dribble, so we're just spray painting them white. It's real easy. Been dipping boxes, just a lot of little projects going on at the moment. Okay, we have an opportunity in this yard to use up a lot of brood. So all of these nukes, we can load them up with 6 frames of brood, and we can give them a second story box. We'll transfer them into a box, of course, make them a single, and add one of these empty boxes on top, and they'll be good with 6 frames of brood. All of those singles can be 6 frames of brood too, and we'll give them a second story box. So I think we're going to be able to use some brood up in this yard. Make sense, Seth?
I think I got it.
You think you got it?
I think we can get after it.
All right. Okay, perfect. We're not leaving here with any brood at all. Worked out just right. Personally, I prefer a yard on individual bottom boards. The pallets have their place, but unless they're going to be moved with a forklift, I prefer it this way. It's easy to work each colony, and you're not bumping the colony next to you and kind of getting them fired up. So we have a lot of yards like this. They don't all show up in our videos, but this is a nice yard to work the way it's set up. And we did get a lot of brood out of here too. Those boxes stacked up down there full of brood. Okay, Seth, where are we going to take all this brood?
I don't know. We burned up our last shot at Walmart yesterday. We need some cell builders at your house.
Yeah, we could boost those. Plus it's going to rain tomorrow, and we could take this brood and work them in the rain because I have that roof there.
Oh, yeah.
They're all under a roof. So.
I'll be in the Southland, so I won't
Oh, that's
get to
right. You're
enjoy
not going to
that
be
weekend.
here tomorrow. You're going to miss out on the rain.
Yep. Hopefully, I hope it ain't following me down yonder, but we'll see.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry. A lot of brood coming out of here. It's becoming an issue, honestly. Okay, Marilyn.
Yes.
This is the part where we embarrass the new employee.
Oh, okay.
Morgan, everybody likes to know who's working here, so I wanted to introduce you to people that come in and watch the videos. So this is Morgan.
Hi.
Morgan came in here looking for a couple of nukes and ended up getting a job. So
Yeah.
that's interesting how that works. Could you turn around for a moment? Yeah, she's bought into the concept. She's perfect, yeah. All right, so Morgan is sweet. We love her. So we're so glad you're here. Suzette and I were talking about you last night. We're so pleased you stumbled upon us.
Thank you.
Okay, Brandon. No, don't back up. So explain to me what you have here. There's no markings on this thing.
No, this is a 06 Road King Harley Davidson.
Yeah?
It's an old police bike.
It kind of reminds me of that, yeah.
Yeah, it used to be an old police bike, and done some changes on it, got rid of the lights and changed the handlebars and the wheels and the exhaust and a few little upgrades, but yeah, kept it pretty stock basically, as far as the way they would have kept it, you know, performance-wise. But
Wow.
just did away with all the lights and the sirens and things.
So did you pick it up? Was it inexpensive because it was a cop bike? Or?
It was fairly it was reasonable. Got it for around $5. So
Okay.
it was a friend of mine's, and he kind of hooked me up.
Wow, cool. Looks cool. I was surprised to see no markings on it. I guess, do they come that way? Do the police have no markings on them?
No, sometimes they'll put their department on the tank or something like that, but
Well, I mean, like, I don't even see Harley Davidson on it, so.
they kind of keep them bare bones.
Wow,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, but it used to have some more gauges on it that said police edition and things like that. But
Oh, yeah.
like I say,
So, because it's a police edition, is it change the engine or anything?
it changes the cams and I'm a little more performance.
No hotter, okay. Interesting.
Yep. So,
Well, when I was very young, I had a lot of friends that had bikes. We used to go to the desert a lot and ride them. And
yeah.
man, I learned right off. I had no business having a motorcycle. I was out in the desert and I ran one through a barbed wire fence, really tore myself up.
Wow.
And right then I returned the bike and I said, thanks a lot. But I think I was just too stupid, you know. I knew I'd hurt myself bad and already had. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll let
my
you.
mother and my father, they both ride. Or he did until he lost his legs, but yeah, they put it in my blood early, so It's a sickness.
A sickness. Motorcycles, it's a disease, y'all.
For sure.